हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नाम्नि। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। 329:16 मद्धिष्णदर्शनस्पर्श पूजस्तुत्यभिवन्दनैः भूतेषु मद्भावनया तत्त्वेनासङ्गमेन च. The devotee should regularly see my statues in the temple, touch my lotus feet, and offer worshipable paraphernalia and prayer. He should see in the spirit of renunciation from the mode of goodness and see every living as spiritual. Temple worship is one of the duties of a devotee. It is especially recommended for neophytes. But those who are advanced should not refrain from temple worship. There is a distinction in the manner a neophyte and an advanced devotee appreciate the Lord's presence in the temple. A neophyte considers the Archa Vigraha to be different from the original personality of Godhead. He considers it a representation of the Supreme Lord in the form of a deity. But an advanced devotee accepts the deity in the temple as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It does not see any difference between the original form of the Lord and the statue or archa form of the Lord in the temple. This is the vision of a devotee whose devotional service is in the highest stage of bhava or love of God. Whereas a neophyte's worship in the temple is a matter of routine duty. Okay, so before we discuss this very important concept, so primarily we have two paths, Bhagavata Vidhi and then Pancharatriki Vidhi. Now, Bhagavata Vidhi is Shravanam Kirtanam. Okay, so which is hearing and chanting. Mm. So which is chanting Hare Krishna, uh, reading, hearing Bhagavatam, chanting Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, etc. So this is the Bhagavata Vidhi. Actually, primarily our Sampradaya is Bhagavata Vidhi because Prahlad Maharaj says Shravanam Kirtanam, right? Um, so our whole focus actually is Bhagavata Vidhi. Technically, without even doing Pancharatriki, meaning without deity worship, one can achieve perfection. Technically, I'm saying. Now, obviously, uh, so one of the most important reasons why deity worship is recommended is specifically for grihasthas, because many of them might not have a natural attachment to Bhagavata Vidhi. Number one. Number two, because we are engaged in material things, right? So Prabhupada says that we can get attracted by when our senses are directly engaged, like we are engaged in day to day, like touch and see kind of scenario, which is the Archa Vigraha form. So for neophytes, basically, because advanced devotees actually they are happy with Bhagavata Vidhi. Mm, but yeah, here also there's an explanation of how they look at deity worship. Um, so for neophytes who are not so advanced, deity worship is absolutely recommended. Like I said, if somebody is very intensely engaged in Shravanam Kirtanam, and then it's okay even if they don't get an opportunity to do Pancharatriki Vidhi, but if they get an opportunity, they will do. Mm. Pancharatriki Vidhi, the focus is on the form of the Lord. Now, the neophyte will look at the form of the Lord as a representation. So, Prabhupada is explaining this here. He will see that the form is a representation of the Supreme Lord in the form of, okay, it's a wood or metal or whatever, right? So, he sees it only as a representation. And he engages with, respect, um engages in deity worship, right? Because he's considering the form as a representation of the Supreme Lord. Um, so Prabhupada here is concluding this by saying that neophyte's worship is a matter of routine duty. So he just respect, okay, he comes, he does, whatever, right? Mm. But an advanced devotee, he does not see any difference. So for him, it is Krishna himself present there. Is Krishna himself present? So he does in the mood of bhava, because when the Lord is there, he can see the Lord there because of his bhava, because of his love. That is a vision of an advanced devotee. So then the advanced devotee is also happy to serve the Lord who is present there in the temple. So this is a very advanced stage. So deity worship, so Prabhupada further explains about deity worship. So we'll read through. Temple deity worship, specifically Prabhupada is talking about temple deity worship, is one of the functions of a devotee. He goes regularly to see the deity nicely decorated. And with veneration and respect, he touches the lotus feet of the Lord and presents offerings of worship, such as fruits, flowers, and prayers. Of course, lotus feet of the Lord means we offer obeisances. Basically, that's what it is. Right? So, devotee who goes regularly sees the deity nicely decorated. So, this is very, very important aspect of deity worship. Right? So, nicely decorated. What does nicely decorated contain? What all does it entail? What comes to our mind when we talk about deity nicely decorated?
Flowers, Prabhuji.
Flowers, okay. Then
Dress, Prabhuji.
dress,
Ornaments.
ornaments,
Oh, flowers with smell, whatever
flowers.
the best you can offer to the Lord, the dress, the mukhat, the jewelry,
Hmm.
the tilak,
Hmm.
the, the makeup,
Hmm.
the
What
peacock
else?
feather,
Hmm.
plaited. Like,
What else?
like how you would decorate yourself more than how you would like to look and how you could decorate yourself, when you see the details, like they should not be considering them as stone or statue, the same. They are deities, they're not idols.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah. So
breathing.
what else? What else? What other aspects when you think about deity nicely decorated?
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
going
I
into a
wish,
little bit more detail.
like, like when you go to my, wow, I wish I was there. I wish I could be with them.
I'm also dreaming about that. I don't know whether it'll
Like, I
happen
wish
in this
I was
life,
there.
but yeah.
But it's
What
not
else?
like,
What
you,
else?
probably when you see something so beautiful, you want to associate.
No, there are more things.
You-
There are more things. Beauty, we got that, right? So flowers, then dress.
the full opulence.
Yeah, what else? I want details. I think that we are the deity worship. We are responsible for deity worship. Think by putting
Tulsi,
ourselves into that position.
the tulsi, the flowers, the anklets. You start with the lotus feet,
Hmm.
the anklets,
Yeah, so all the
the bracelet. Yes.
ornaments, the dress, the very details of the dress, intricacies of how colors, the design, whether it matches with the ornaments, or the colors, yeah, what else? There are more things.
Turbans.
Yeah, I mean the dress. So the dress includes whatever, right? Based on the different form, whatever needs to be offered. See, so there are some very important things in DT worship, right? And actually, this is very, very important to consider, right? Mm. So one is actually the cleanliness of the place, right? Because sometimes, we'll dress the DT very nicely, but the place around is not clean, right? Which is not considered as good deity worship, right? So cleaning the place. Second thing is, it's very important to see the overall, like we should see um, not just the dress of the deity. For example, if there's a backdrop, now is the backdrop and the dress of the deity, are they going together nicely? Are the colors of the dress, the colors of the flowers that have been offered, the backdrop, everything, is it coming together, and it should be pleasant, like Lord should feel happy, and the Lord is very, I mean, is like lot of details, right, to serve the Lord. That is the spiritual world. Mm. um, then of course the devotees who are actually engaging in the service. So that also is very, very important, because see, the mood in which the devotees serve, that much happy the Lord will be. Lord is not wanting our dress or ornaments or whatever, right? So it's the mood of service, it's the mode of devotion. Then, for example, how much hot that place is. And I was very happy, like when I heard we are offered AC to our lordships in our temple. So things like this, we have to look at each and every detail. Light, for example, are lights very bright on the Lord, on the eyes of the Lord? Is it pleasant? Is it bright enough? So there are so many considerations. So maybe there are danglings from top. Maybe it's flowers. Maybe it's something else. Is it going with everything? So many details, right? And we put curtains, maybe on the sides, maybe in front, etc. Whatever it is. So the whole thing, we have to go into each and every detail, um, and make it the grandest, right? The best. Um, that is possible. Actually, I was seeing one video of TOVP, right? And I was just like, my hair stood on end. So two videos I saw. One was um, beautiful decoration of Radha Madhav. Um, I keep speaking about Radha Madhav because they are my, life. And I like Sumantra Mataji was saying that, somebody, the unfortunate devotee is going and, offering, drawing, some designs on Krishna's hands, on his lotus face. But and I was just thinking that, how fortunate. I mean, is this, of course, it's the same thing when we do it with Jagannath. It's not different, but it's just what our deep attachments are. So that's where we will end up discussing. Um, that is one, and the other one was about TOVP, specifically how they are doing the whole thing, right? And just the amount of details going into, for example, even the flooring, the marbles, the pillars, the whole thing. It's so beautiful, and we feel like Lord will really be happy. Of course, Lord doesn't want opulence. Lord is not looking for opulence, but Lord is primarily looking for love. But with love, and along with that, if there is opulence, um, and Vrindavan is full of opulence. We should not think it's only Vaikuntha. Actually, Vrajadam's opulence, it actually is more. It defeats the opulence of Vaikuntha. That is Rajabhumi, right? So yes, the Lord will be happy, when we give him opulence. But more than anything else, it's the love of the devotees that is most important. And why I am talking about all this is when a neophyte devotee, when he goes to the temple and sees all this, you know, so the way the service has been done to the deities will be happy, and the happiness of the deities is automatically experienced by people who are coming in. Mm. And I keep telling this multiple times. I was, chatting with few devotees in our temple who do services, and I was telling you, all of you do so nicely that anybody who comes, actually, they'll feel happy. They'll feel happy and go, and they'll want to come back. And once I don't want to name the temple, I had gone to a temple for Mangalarti, and when I saw the dress offered to the deity, I felt so sad. I mean, I could see the sadness in Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. Um, right? And I felt like, what is this? I mean, we will not even dress ourselves so shabbily, even if it is in the morning. And the Lord is, open for darshan, and his devotees are coming, and such a really poor standard, and that it directly has an impact on devotees who come and see. Um, so this deity worship that way is very, very important because it attracts a lot of new people to Krishna consciousness. Um, right, and of course, when we go to the temple, we should also um, we should offer obeisances. We should offer fruits, flowers, prayers, something we have to offer every time we go. Hmm. At the same time, to advance in devotional service, a devotee should see other living entities as spiritual sparks, part and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Actually, this is Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that this is Jiva Daya, right? And if we don't see this, if we don't see, um, Atma in other Jivas, and we are just looking at the bodies of people and not considering them as Atma, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, right? Then we are totally neophytes. We might be doing the best deity worship, but that will not, I mean, that's not considered as the best standard because we are treating others as this is called separatist attitude also. That we are not looking at other jivas and considering them as part and parcel of the Lord. And so if you don't respect other jivas, see here, next statement only Prabhupada is saying. Devotees to offer respect to every living entity that has a relationship with the Lord, and every living entity has a relationship with the Lord. So if we are not offering respect to every living entity, but we are gorgeously engaged in deity worship, that's not high class. Because every living entity originally has a relationship with the Lord as part and parcel, a devotee should try to see all living entities on the same equal level of spiritual existence, not material existence. I'll explain that. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Pandita, one who is learned, sees equally a very learned Brahmana, Shudra, hog, dog, and a cow. It does not see the body which is only an outward dress. It does not see the dress of a Brahmana or that of a cow or a hog. He sees the spiritual spark, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. If a devotee does not see every living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, he is considered a Prakrita Bhakta, a materialistic devotee, because he is only seeing material things. He's only seeing the opulence, beauty of the Lord on the material platform, and he's attracted, which is good for him. But he's not made progress because he's not able to see every living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. When one sees every living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, automatically, what quality should we demonstrate in connection with other living entities? When we see every living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, what quality of a devotee should we actually, what should I say, live or display or show, as in not show off, show as in display that quality, which is very important. So when we see every jiva as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, immediately we should see that they have cut off their connection with the Lord. And the quality that a devotee develops when he develops this vision is compassion. Right? He develops compassion and he wants to bring every living entity back in connection with the Lord. If not, we can consider ourselves as Prakrita Bhaktas. It's not like a major disqualification. Just having the word Bhakta associated with us is greatest qualification. But yeah, instead of Prakrita, we can come to Madhyama, something we can make progress. That will be nice. He's not completely situated on the spiritual platform. Rather, he's the lowest stage of devotion, but he's in devotion, which is okay, which is a separate school altogether. The lowest stage of devotion is still greatest than the non-devotional platform. So that's okay. And that should give us impetus to actually make progress. We should not feel discouraged by it. It does, however, show all respects to the deity. So this is Prakrita. We respect the deity, but we don't treat other jivas. We don't see the spiritual spark in the other jivas. We discussed this in Bhagavad Gita. It's not that because we consider a hog and a dog Everybody is, equal. Not that we will bring a hog inside the house or a dog inside the house. And that's not what is recommended. In fact, very recently, I heard one small snippet from a Madhva Vaishnava who was saying that how people who keep pets, I'm not trying to discourage anybody but it's a fact that I didn't know, and when I heard that, I was like really taken aback. I didn't know that this particular truth. He said that actually the animals which are caged, really they're caged because their natural habitat is outside. Actually, it said that these jivas actually curse the person who are actually caged them. While we are thinking about them as we are taking care of them, but the animals are seeing that they are being caged and their natural freedom has been cut off. So they actually curse those so-called pet lovers. So they're loving the pet and they're getting cursed for it. So we should understand Shastra. All this is so crazy Western stuff. Right, but yeah, unfortunately, people don't understand. They don't. I mean, for me, somehow from the beginning, I used to feel that it's restricted. You know, we see the natural behavior of a dog or a cat or whatever, any animal for that matter, or a bird. They are free. Why we don't have any right to cage them? It's like jailing them. And we think that we are giving them a better position by giving them, whatever food that we are offering, cushion. But they don't need all that. They really don't need all that. All they need is freedom. Freedom to go do whatever they want. That is their life. And we are caging them. Anyway, so the point is that we don't see the body. But at the same time, we don't treat all bodies of different jivas similarly. There's a snake. It's not like we're going to pat the snake, right? So we have to treat according to the body, but we should see the spirit soul and respect the spirit soul, presence of a spirit soul. And that presence of a spirit soul is more important to be seen, especially with respect to human beings, at least for devotees, and see that they are same as us, right? So all of us give so much importance for our own feelings, our me. But actually, this me is same as you, because both of us are just part and parcel of Krishna. The only difference is in our material position because of our karma, right? But apart from that, we should see the jiva in each and every soul and feel, oh, some jiva is fallen. We should feel compassion. Some jiva is rude. We should feel compassion. Some jiva is misled. We should feel compassion. Many times I've seen people come into Krishna consciousness, but they don't have clear tattva, clear understanding of tattva. They come to Krishna consciousness, they do service to Krishna, and they expect that they be recognized. We feel compassion towards such jivas, but many times devotees are not even in a position to hear. What do we do? I mean, we feel so sad and we just pray to the Lord saying that please help this jiva. Nothing else we can do. Because even if we are seeing that somebody is doing something wrong, many times devotees just cut off themselves from other devotees. Because they just want to do whatever they want to do. That's not going to help make progress, right? Everybody has the freedom to do whatever they want, but that's not going to help people make progress. So these things, either somebody has to read Prabhupada's purports and understand and assimilate all this, or should be willing to hear from a devotee who understands all this and learn. If both these are missing, how will we understand these things? How will you understand how should I look at a deity in the temple? If I have not read these two paragraphs, how will I understand? So Shravanam is very important. Prabhupada has written so many important things in his books. Although devotee sees all living entities on the level of spiritual existence, he is not interested in associating with everyone. This is also very, very important. We simply think, oh, it is just materially, we are thinking, oh, should feel pity. I feel so sad for this person, and let me spend some time with this person. But no, spiritually, if that person is not spiritually elevated, unless we have the strength in ourselves to pull that person to the next level, we should not associate. Because then there's a high risk that we go down to their level if we are not ourselves strong enough. So we have to be very, very careful. Simply because the tiger is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord does not mean that we embrace him because of his spiritual relationship with the Supreme Lord. We must associate only with persons who have developed Krishna consciousness so clear. And developed Krishna consciousness doesn't just mean somebody is wearing tilak, dhoti, etc. Actually, he's developed Krishna consciousness, which means that he sees Krishna, he sees Guru, he sees Vaishnavas, he sees authorities, he submits, then he has developed Krishna consciousness. We should befriend and offer special respect to persons who are developed in Krishna consciousness, not who are in Krishna, who are developed, meaning advanced devotees. Other living entities are undoubtedly part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but because their consciousness is still covered and not developed, we should renounce their association. See, please note this. This is talking about the quality of association we should have in Krishna consciousness. Those devotees who are practicing, but their consciousness is still covered by Maya material and not developed, we should renounce their association, but we should absolutely respect them. We should absolutely respect them, but we should not associate with them. It is said by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that even if one is a Vaishnava, if he is not of good character, his company should be avoided. And when Prabhupada is talking about good character here, good character in the normal sense he is speaking. Normal sense, whatever is considered as good character. Respect for others, humility, talking nicely, helping others. No, not inside something, outside something. Basic aspects of what we consider as good character among devotees. If he doesn't have, we should avoid such people. Although he may be offered the respect of a Vaishnava. Anyone who accepts Vishnu as the Supreme Person of Godhead is accepted as a Vaishnava. But a Vaishnava is expected to develop all good qualities of the demigods. But this develops automatically. Expected to develop, meaning this develops automatically when we are engaged in serious Krishna consciousness. The exact meaning of the word Satvena is given by Sridhar Swami as being synonymous with Dhairyena or patience. One must perform devotional service with great patience. This is also very, very important. Sometimes we have too much patience, so much patience that we are not making any inch of movement and we are still okay with it. That's also not good. Sometimes we are like too eager to make progress. Like we don't have patience at all. We should have patience. We should put effort, but we should be patient. Prabhupada gives the example of lady who is married. She can't immediately expect a child. She should have patience. One should not give up the execution of devotion service because one or two attempts have not been successful. That is why Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya, Rupa Goswami says. One must continue. Rupa Goswami also confirms, that one should be very enthusiastic, Utsaha, execute devotion service with Dhairya and Nishchaya, patience and confidence. Confidence is required that no, Prabhupada has given the process. If I stick to this process, I will achieve perfection. No doubt. But we have to stick to the process enthusiastically and with patience. Patience is necessary for developing the confidence that Krishna will certainly accept me. See, all these statements Prabhupada has repeated so many times, so it almost looks like speaking the next sentence. Krishna will certainly accept me because I'm engaging in devotional service. One has only to execute service according to the rules and regulations to ensure success. Not whimsically, not the way we want. We can't do bhakti the way we want. We should do bhakti the way it has been given by acharyas. And we should execute it even if it is difficult, even if we have failed repeatedly. We should execute with enthusiasm, patience, and confidence. Beautiful purport. See, that is why, Prabhupada's purports, each and every one of them have their own flavor. And they just, like any one line can change our life. So powerful. Okay, I'll stop here. Any questions, comments? Anything? Everybody
Hare
happy,
Krishna,
satisfied?
Prabhu.
Yeah.
If you avoid those person attitude is bad, then how we can pull again to Krishna consciousness?
Yeah, so that is why I said it depends on the maturity of the individuals, right? So those who are themselves not strong, Prabhupada is saying avoid. Those who
Okay.
are very strong in Krishna consciousness, they can try. But the important point here also is a note of acceptance. See, when you go to a doctor, do you go to a doctor thinking it's useless to go to him?
No, we have
You go
believed.
with some faith, no? You go with some
Yeah.
faith saying that no, this is a good doctor. I believe that if I take his medicine, I will be cured. And you're ready to accept, right? Without that, it's useless. And that is the reason why when devotees are not ready to accept and they think they're only right, then it's very difficult. Then, and yeah, you know whom we are discussing about, the repeated attempts also fail many a times. At that time, like, we just pray to Krishna saying that please help him. Yeah, others, see, actually, this is one very important thing. Things generally get more complicated than they should in Krishna consciousness. That's because we don't want to keep things simple. We complicate things. So if we can try and keep things simple, then it's good. Yeah, we should definitely attempt to help. It's not like we will just abandon people, but there is also a limit for everything. Even in Prabhupada's time, there's so many devotees, they left Prabhupada and went. Prabhupada was felt very sad about it, but they were not ready to hear. Just imagine, they're not ever ready to hear Prabhupada. They're not ready to come and sit in front of Prabhupada and talk to him because they know that they have done a mistake. So yeah, it's difficult. It hurts. We can try, but we have to be careful also because it's very important that poison is kept away, right? So that it doesn't affect everybody else. At the same time, we should try to convert that poison to nectar if possible. Should definitely try. But we have to be careful not to be affected ourselves by the poison. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Yeah,
Dandas
Mataji.
Pranam.
Dandavat Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhu, like now, like when you're talking about association also,
Yeah.
and sometimes now, like when I see Prabhu, like whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, there's so, like you have neophyte devotees, new problem, new understanding, and
Yeah.
you also have a basic character which you are born with.
Yeah.
Somebody adapt themselves very well. Somebody takes a lot of time. Somebody cannot, even with time, and they cannot put in that effort or they cannot renunciate. There's so many things which go, it's just not hearing, wanting to do, so many things, slightly like subtle things which work onto you also. And probably like one more thing you said, like it should not be according to your fancy, right? But in the beginning, like before coming to Krishna consciousness, is just like what you thought at home, what you see at home. Isn't that better than not doing anything at all?
No, that's what. That is the beginning stage. Neophyte
Yes.
stage, we don't tell anything to anybody, na. Neophyte stage, everybody is allowed to do whatever they want to do, but within certain boundaries. For example, your neophyte feels like I want to go onto the altar. We'll not allow him,
No.
right?
Yeah.
So there are
Yes.
certain limitations, certain rules, regulations that we have to put, which we can't allow even anybody to just cross it, right? But the whims have to stop, right? So that is why this concept of see in Krishna consciousness, there's a concept of dovetailing. You know what Prabhupada used to do? Prabhupada used to allow anybody and everybody to come into Krishna consciousness, right? But before they would take initiation, he would make sure that they would following rules. Of course, there have been instances where he allowed also because he was the acharya, he was trying to set up the whole ISKCON.
When you
So,
go to when you do go for sorry, my voice is breaking. When you have deities at home and when you have deities like when you go to the temple, At home, you're slightly more casual than what you are, because I mean, it's a day-to-day bhava there, or is it the?
But
Is it
if you do
because
day-to-day
that's
bhava in
this
temple,
is a
what will
temple?
happen? No, if you do day-to-day bhava in
No, I
temple,
don't
what
know.
will
That's why
happen?
I'm asking.
Yeah.
No,
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 actually, see,
no.
deity worship at home, deity worship at home, we should understand saying that obviously it cannot meet the highest standards that should be followed in a temple. Temple highest standards have to be followed.
Prabhuji, can I just interrupt in between and just cut you off? Prabhu, like just in the class, you said the deities' dresses were very shabby. Anukul is on the other line, and he's taking. Was it the morning darshan?
No, it was not in our temple. It was not in our temple.
Not in our temple.
I told in the beginning only it was not in our temple.
No,
Now
I
our
did not.
temple, I have never. Our temple,
I'm sorry,
never
I
seen.
did not hear that. Haribol,
No,
apne
no.
temple mein nahi tha.
No,
Apne
it was
temple
not
mein
in
nahi
our
tha.
temple. Like I keep saying, right? Our temple deity worship is one of the best I've seen.
No,
So this is some
was
other
like
temple. Sometime just one random visit I made at some point of time. My
like
Guru Maharaj had come, so I had gone with him, and I was very, very disappointed seeing the deities.
which is not in Jagannath temple, right?
Not
Prabhu?
in our temple. Not in our temple.
Okay. Because I mean, I felt because I see
No.
Mataji is
Our
there.
temple is
I mean,
so
like so many Matajis tell me, because I don't do any service there. They tell me, Mataji, aankhein dukhne lagti hai jab they make the dresses, ek bead by hand, they're not even sticking. So I was
this is
thank you.
our temple is like I said, right? Our temple deity worship is one of the best I've seen. It's so beautifully it is done.
Thank you, Pram. I'm sorry I cut you off in the middle.
No problem.
Because he was on the other phone.
Yeah, no issues. So the home deity worship, right? So we should understand that it cannot be at the same standard as the temple, but it should not be casual. This is very, very important, right? We should do our best that is possible even at home. It's just because it's day to day. So does that mean that we'll go to Goloka and then we are seeing Krishna Radha every day and we'll just become casual about their service? No, we will not. In fact, every day is Nava is new, because see, the deity is actually reciprocate. The deity is reciprocate, right? And when the deities are reciprocating, I'll just complete, Mataji. The deities are reciprocating, and you will feel like, oh, Radha and Krishna are present here, or Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra is present here. Then how much more enthusiasm we should have to actually serve, right? If we don't see with that consciousness, then it's we have to raise our consciousness. But we cannot take it for granted, or we cannot just say that casual deity worship is acceptable at home. I would not say that. That's because the aparadhs that seva aparadhs that happen there will go to the guru. We have to note this, because the guru is the one who has given you permission to do deity worship at home. Because every devotee, every disciple, before they start deity worship at home, should get the permission of the guru. This is the process. And when the guru has given the process, that means he is indirectly saying that I'm ready to take up your mistakes. That's what he's indirectly when he gives permission. So, which is the reason why we have to be doubly careful when we are doing services at home, especially with respect to deities, because otherwise, result is directly on the guru.
No, you have festivals in the temple.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhuji, like you have festivals in the temple. Like जैसे कल मंदिर में जाना by 5. So I do the aarti earlier, and then like when I come back, I offer the prasadam. And the delay of things, because the timing does not go on. So that is accepted, Prabhu. I'm like they say, okay, the temple. See, I have no other option. मैं फिर 4-4:30 बजे आरती करके निकल जाती हूँ. And then when I come back, or
nobody else in the home who can offer on time?
No. There's only the help is there.
Okay.
Then I come back.
Anyway, I mean, Anukul Prabhu can answer that.
No,
Um,
why, Prabhu? Anukul, why, Prabhu? Anukul, why can't you?
No, see, because I mean, my this one is very clear, Mataji. Actually, Prabhupada, which is why one of the things that Prabhupada said very, very categorically about deity worship is that the devotees who are near to a temple, he said, should not have deities at home. Meaning, who have regular services at the temple should not have deities at home for the simple reason that they will not be able to do justice in both places,
Yes.
right? And see, Mataji, it's a very simple question. I always do this, when I'm in front associated with anything with deity worship, right? I see that if Krishna is present himself and he normally eats at 6:30, will I dare make him wait for 2 hours or whatever it is? I cannot. I mean, it's my feeling. I cannot, right? So that is the reason why I don't get near deity worship, because it's I'm very afraid that I'll end up messing up because I'm messed up. So um, it's a very, I mean, deity worship is a very, very high standard, very high standard. It's not for, at least it's not for me, but from whatever I've understood of the mood of deity worship, whether it is home or the only difference between home and temple is maybe, some people cannot offer the opulence of deity worship that is done in a temple. They might not be able to offer like, tens of items for bhoga. Those are the differences, right? Which is as per Yatha Shakti, right? As per what the person can do, that freedom is given, but not, we can't like generally play around with timings and all that. Is that's at least my understanding of it.
No, no, I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm actually understanding what you're saying. But like what I like, see, even before coming to Krishna consciousness, I had these deities. Like I have them. Even I see them, like हम लोग अपने society में और में we see them, and like today, like just to at least 1 hour, 2 hour, we are there in the temple looking at the Lordship, doing something. And if I close, I know that once now I speak for myself. Once I and Prabhu is not there, I don't know where my deities are going to go, because my children are not going to spend so much of time there. At least that time, जैसे भी conscious हो हमारा, at least we are there in front of the deities. So
Yeah.
that is my thinking. I may be wrong, but what you say, then
No, these special considerations, very simple actually, is to just ask
I
His
should.
Holiness Jaipadak Maharaj. And because see, at the end of the day, na Mataji, see, technical is very, very clear.
Yes.
The technicality is
Yes,
clear, right?
yes,
Because
Prabhu.
at the end of the day, it's the Guru, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
It's nobody else, right? It's a Guru, right? So as based on what Maharaj says, that is
Yeah.
your whatever, right? Golden line.
Yes,
He
yes,
says it's
Prabhu.
okay, you do it, it's fine, which means that he's willingly just taking it up, making it easy for you to do it. But we should please remember that actually he's taking it up on your behalf,
Yes, Prabhu.
because the technically na, the seva aparadas are not gone. They it's not like there are no seva aparadas at home.
There
Absolutely,
is
seva aparadas
plenty.
are there, but it's taken up. It's taken up by the Guru, right? And that is why temple, we have to maintain high standards, because we can't keep giving excuses for everything and push everything up to the Guru, right? Yeah, but yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Maharaj is he'll be the, yeah,
No,
whatever he
I
says.
get. Yeah, I get what you say.
Yeah.
I can read between the lines too. I
Yeah.
understand what you say. Yeah,
Thanks,
I get what it
Yeah,
is.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry,
Hare
I
Krishna.
didn't.
No.
Thank
Okay. Anything else, anybody? These things are very important, actually. So many topics we are discussing, which normally we don't discuss. It will benefit so many other devotees here who are hearing. These topics are not discussed. So thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Okay. Anything else, anybody? Or okay, we'll close. We already extended beyond. Okay, so we'll end here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vastakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha Bhajananam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Nanta Koti Vaishnavebhyo ki jai.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhu. Dandavat
Hare
pranam,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.